There's a quiet habit happening in millions of homes every single night. And for people over 60, it may be slowly weakening the most vital muscle in your body, your heart. It doesn't feel dangerous. It doesn't cause immediate pain. In fact, it feels harmless, even comforting. But cardiologists are now warning that this one daily routine could be increasing your risk of heart attack, stroke, and sudden cardiac failure by as much as 45%. What's more disturbing? Most people doing it have no idea it's happening. If you've ever woken up tired, felt unexplained tightness in your chest, or noticed your energy dropping year after year, this could be one of the hidden reasons why. I'm going to walk you through 6 daily habits that silently strain your heart after 60. These are backed by clinical observations, long-term studies, and real patient outcomes. And as we go down this list, each one becomes more dangerous, more overlooked, and more urgent to fix. But stay with me, because the number one habit at the end is the most damaging of all, and it's something most people do every single day without question. Before we begin, I want to ask you something simple. How old are you right now? Go ahead and type it in the comments. Not for me, but for you. Because awareness is the first step toward protection. And if you're over 60, this video could genuinely change the way you live and how long you live. Let's begin. The 6th habit is something so common, most people would never suspect it's harming their heart. It's staying up too late, especially in front of screens. At first glance, it doesn't seem like a heart issue. It feels more like a sleep problem. But here's what's really happening inside your body. As you age, your circadian rhythm, your internal clock, becomes more fragile. Your body depends on consistent sleep timing to regulate blood pressure, heart rate, and hormone balance. When you stay up late, especially past 11 p.m., your body remains in a stimulated state longer than it should. Now add screens into the mix, phones, TVs, tablets, and it gets worse. The blue light emitted from screens suppresses melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to rest. Without enough melatonin, your nervous system stays alert. Your heart rate doesn't slow down properly. Your blood vessels don't relax the way they need to overnight. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that adults over 60 who regularly slept after midnight had a 38% higher risk of cardiovascular events compared to those who slept before 10:30 p.m. Think about that. Almost 40% higher risk, just from when you go to sleep. Let me tell you about Mr. Mateo, a 67-year-old retired accountant. He told his doctor he felt fine, but he had started noticing occasional palpitations at night. Nothing painful, just a fluttering feeling in his chest. He also had a habit. Every night, after dinner, he would sit in bed and scroll through his phone for 2 to 3 hours. News, videos, messages, it became his routine. It helped him relax, or so he thought. One night, he woke up with a heavy chest and dizziness. He was rushed to the hospital. The diagnosis? A mild cardiac arrhythmia triggered by chronic sleep disruption and elevated nighttime heart rate. His doctor told him something he never expected to hear. Your bedtime routine is stressing your heart more than your diet. Here's the reality. After 60, your heart needs deeper, more consistent recovery cycles. When you delay sleep, you shorten the window where your body repairs blood vessels, stabilizes rhythm, and reduces inflammation. And over time, that damage accumulates. So what should you do instead? Start by setting a sleep cutoff time. Choose a time, ideally between 9:30 and 10:30 p.m., and treat it as non-negotiable. At least 1 hour before bed, turn off all screens. Replace them with something calming, reading, light stretching, or simply sitting in silence. And here's a powerful synergy tip. Combine earlier sleep with a short evening walk, even just 10 minutes. This helps lower your heart rate naturally and signals your body that it's time to wind down. It's a small change, but it sends a powerful message to your heart. You're ready to protect it. Now let's move to the 5th habit, and this one is even more deceptive because it feels like something you should be doing to stay healthy. It's drinking too much water at the wrong time. You've probably heard it your whole life. Drink more water. Stay hydrated. And that's true, to a point. But after 60, your body processes fluids differently. Your kidneys don't filter as efficiently, and your heart has to work harder to manage fluid balance. When you drink large amounts of water late in the evening, especially within 2 hours of bedtime, you increase your blood volume at a time when your body is trying to rest. This creates extra pressure on your cardiovascular system. Your heart has to pump harder. Your blood pressure can rise. And if you already have underlying heart conditions or even mild hypertension, this can quietly push your system into a dangerous zone. A study in older adults found that nighttime fluid overload increased the risk of nocturnal hypertension by 27%, a condition strongly linked to stroke and heart failure. But here's where it gets more concerning. Drinking too much water at night also leads to frequent urination. That means you're waking up multiple times, disrupting your sleep cycle again. And now you have a double effect: sleep deprivation plus increased cardiac strain. Let me share the story of Mrs. Marie, age 72. She was extremely disciplined about her health. Every night before bed, she drank 2 large glasses of water because she believed it would flush out toxins. She woke up 3 to 4 times every night to use the bathroom. Over time, she started feeling exhausted during the day. Her blood pressure became unstable. Eventually, she experienced a minor stroke. Her neurologist pointed out something subtle but critical. Her nighttime routine was contributing to both poor sleep and elevated nighttime blood pressure. It wasn't the water itself. It was the timing. So what's the smarter approach? Hydrate earlier in the day. Aim to drink most of your fluids before 6 p.m. After that, take small sips only if needed. And here's a practical fix. If you feel thirsty at night, try rinsing your mouth or taking just a few sips instead of a full glass. Another synergy tip: pair proper hydration timing with reducing salt intake at dinner. This helps prevent fluid retention and reduces nighttime cardiovascular load. Your heart doesn't just need water. It needs balance. And when that balance is off, even in something as simple as when you drink, you can unintentionally put your heart under stress while you sleep. We're just getting started. Because the next habit on this list is something millions of people over 60 do every single day, believing it's harmless. But it's quietly damaging blood vessels, raising inflammation, and setting the stage for serious heart events. And it might be part of your routine right now. Now let's move deeper, because the fourth habit is where things start to become more dangerous and far more common than most people realize. It's sitting for too long without movement. You might be thinking, of course I sit. I'm retired. I relax more. And that's completely natural. But what most people don't understand is that prolonged sitting doesn't just affect your muscles or posture. It directly impacts your heart's ability to function efficiently. When you sit for extended periods, especially more than 60 to 90 minutes at a time, your blood circulation slows down. Blood begins to pool in your lower body. Your arteries become less responsive, and your heart has to work harder to push blood back up through your system. Now here's where it becomes serious. After age 60, your blood vessels naturally lose elasticity. That means they don't expand and contract as easily. So when circulation slows due to inactivity, your cardiovascular system becomes strained much faster than it would in your younger years. A large-scale study published in the European Heart Journal found that adults over 60 who sat for more than 6 hours a day had a 64% higher risk of developing heart disease, even if they exercised occasionally. Let that sink in. You could go for a morning walk, but if you spend the rest of your day sitting, the damage still accumulates. I remember a case of a 70-year-old man named Arif. He was proud of the fact that he walked every morning for 20 minutes. He believed that was enough. But the rest of his day, he spent it watching TV, reading, or sitting with friends. Over time, he started noticing swelling in his ankles. Then came shortness of breath when climbing stairs. Eventually, he was diagnosed with early-stage heart failure. His doctor told him something that shocked him. It's not just how much you move, it's how long you stay still. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. When you sit too long, an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, which helps break down fats in your bloodstream, becomes less active. This leads to higher triglycerides, lower good HDL cholesterol, and increased arterial plaque buildup. In simple terms, your blood becomes thicker, dirtier, harder for your heart to handle. So what can you do? You don't need intense workouts. You need consistent interruption of sitting time. Set a timer every 45 to 60 minutes. Stand up. Walk around your home. Even 2 to 3 minutes of light movement can restart circulation. And here's a powerful synergy tip. Combine these movement breaks with hydration during the day, not at night. A small glass of water plus a short walk keeps both your blood flow and fluid balance optimized. Also, Consider simple habits like standing while talking on the phone or walking during TV commercials. Your heart doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency. Now, the third habit is even more subtle and far more dangerous because it hides behind something many people think is completely harmless. It's emotional suppression, especially chronic stress that you don't express. After 60, life changes. Retirement, loss of loved ones, reduced social circles, financial concerns. These pressures don't always show on the surface. But internally, your body feels everything. When you suppress emotions, whether it's anxiety, sadness, or even anger, your body activates a stress response. Your brain signals the release of cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate increases. Your blood pressure rises. And if this happens occasionally, your body can recover. But when it becomes a daily pattern, it turns into silent damage. A study from the American College of Cardiology found that individuals over 60 who reported high levels of unexpressed stress had a 48% higher risk of cardiac events compared to those who regularly processed and expressed their emotions. That's nearly half again as much risk from something you can't even see. Let me tell you about Emma, age 65. She lost her husband 5 years ago. Since then, she's been strong for her family. She never talks about her grief. She avoids burdening others. On the outside, she appears calm, but inside, she carries constant emotional weight. Over time, she began experiencing chest tightness, not sharp pain, just pressure. Doctors initially found no blockage. But eventually, she was diagnosed with stress-induced cardiomyopathy, a condition where emotional strain weakens the heart muscle. Her heart wasn't damaged by cholesterol. It was damaged by silence. Here's the truth. Your heart is not just a pump. It responds to your emotional state every single day. Chronic stress causes inflammation in blood vessels, disrupts heart rhythm, and increases the likelihood of clot formation. So what's the solution? You don't need therapy sessions if that feels overwhelming. Start small. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, a family member. Even expressing your thoughts out loud for 10 minutes can reduce internal pressure. Write your thoughts down. Journaling has been shown to lower cortisol levels significantly. And here's a powerful synergy tip. Combine emotional release with light physical movement, like walking while talking. This creates a dual benefit for both mental and cardiovascular health. Also, practice slow breathing before bed. Inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6. This directly signals your nervous system to relax your heart. Now, before we go further, I want to pause for a moment. If you're still watching, it means you care about your health. And more importantly, you're willing to confront habits that most people ignore until it's too late. Take a second right now and ask yourself, how many of these habits are part of your daily routine? Be honest. And if even one of them applies to you, don't wait. These aren't dramatic changes. They're small shifts that can protect your heart for years to come. If you're finding this helpful, consider subscribing and sharing this video with someone close to you. Because the truth is, most people over 60 are unknowingly putting their heart at risk every single day. Now let's move to the second habit. This one is more serious than everything we've discussed so far, because it directly affects your blood chemistry, your arteries, and your risk of sudden cardiac events. It's eating dinner too late and too heavy. This is one of the most underestimated dangers for people over 60. As you age, your metabolism slows down. Your digestive system becomes less efficient, and your body becomes more sensitive to spikes in blood sugar and fat levels. When you eat a heavy meal late at night, especially after 8 p.m., your body is forced to digest food when it should be preparing for rest. This creates a metabolic overload. Your blood sugar rises, your insulin spikes, your triglycerides increase, and your heart is forced to work harder to manage all of it at the exact time it should be slowing down. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that late-night eating increased the risk of cardiovascular disease by 55% in older adults, more than half. Now imagine combining that with poor sleep, or late screen time, or excess fluid intake. The effects multiply. Let me share a story. Ron, age 68, had a lifelong habit of eating dinner around 10 p.m. It was part of his routine: family gatherings, late TV, relaxed evenings. He enjoyed rich meals, fried foods, sweets, large portions. Over time, he developed acid reflux. Then came weight gain, then borderline diabetes. But the real shock came when he experienced a mild heart attack, late at night. His cardiologist explained that late heavy meals were triggering nighttime spikes in blood pressure and blood sugar, placing acute stress on his cardiovascular system. Here's what most people don't realize. After 60, your body needs at least 2 to 3 hours between your last meal and sleep. This allows your metabolism to stabilize and reduces the burden on your heart. So what's the fix? Shift your dinner earlier, ideally before 7 p.m. Keep it lighter. Focus on vegetables, lean protein, and low-sodium foods. Avoid fried, sugary, or highly processed meals at night. And here's a critical synergy tip. Pair an early, light dinner with a short post-meal walk. Just 10 to 15 minutes can significantly reduce blood sugar spikes and improve circulation. Also, avoid lying down immediately after eating. Give your body time to process the meal. This one change alone can dramatically reduce nighttime cardiovascular stress. And we're not done yet, because the number one habit is the most dangerous of all. It's the one that silently damages your heart every single day, without pain, without warning, until it's too late. And chances are you've been doing it for years. Now we come to the most dangerous habit of all. This is the one that quietly builds damage day after day, without pain, without warning, until one morning everything changes. It's ignoring early warning signs from your body. Not the dramatic ones, not the crushing chest pain you see in movies. I'm talking about the subtle signals, the quiet symptoms that most people dismiss, delay, or explain away. A little tightness in the chest that comes and goes, feeling unusually tired after simple activities, a slight shortness of breath when climbing stairs, mild dizziness when standing up too quickly, a strange pressure in your upper back, neck, or jaw. Individually, they seem harmless. Together, they can be your heart asking for help. After 60, your body doesn't always send loud alarms. Your nervous system becomes less responsive, and heart-related symptoms often appear in quieter, less obvious ways. And this is where the real danger begins. Because when you ignore these signs, even for a few weeks or months, you allow underlying problems to progress unchecked. Plaque builds up in your arteries. Blood flow becomes restricted. Your heart muscle begins to weaken. And by the time a major event happens, a heart attack, a stroke, or sudden cardiac arrest, the damage is already advanced. A study published in Circulation found that nearly 67% of heart attack patients over 60 had experienced warning symptoms days or even weeks before their event, but chose not to act on them. 67%. That means most of these emergencies didn't come out of nowhere. They were preceded by signals that were missed, ignored, or misunderstood. Let me tell you about something that happens far too often. A man named Elijah, age 71, started feeling unusually tired during his daily routine. Walking to the local shop left him slightly breathless. He noticed a mild discomfort in his chest, but only occasionally. He told himself it was age. He didn't want to worry his family. He didn't want to make a big deal out of nothing. Weeks passed. One morning, he woke up feeling a heavy pressure in his chest. This time, it didn't go away. By the time he reached the hospital, he was in the middle of a major heart attack. The doctors later told his family something heartbreaking. If he had come in earlier, this could have been prevented. This is the reality most people don't want to face. Your heart rarely fails without warning, but it often whispers before it screams. And ignoring those whispers is the most dangerous habit you can have. Here's what's happening scientifically. As plaque accumulates in your coronary arteries, it restricts oxygen supply to your heart muscle. This condition, known as ischemia, can cause mild, intermittent symptoms at first. But because the restriction isn't complete, the symptoms fade, giving you a false sense of safety. Meanwhile, inflammation continues. The plaque becomes unstable, and one day it ruptures. A clot forms, blood flow stops, and within minutes, heart tissue begins to die. That's a heart attack. Not sudden, not random, but the result of a process that gave warnings that were ignored. So what should you do instead? First, change your mindset. Stop thinking of symptoms as inconveniences. Start treating them as information. If you feel unusual fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, pay attention. If you notice chest discomfort, even mild or inconsistent, don't dismiss it. If your breathing changes, your energy drops, or something simply feels off, trust that instinct. Get it checked. Not next month. Not if it gets worse. Now, because early detection can mean the difference between a simple intervention and a life-threatening emergency. And here's a powerful synergy tip. Combine awareness with routine monitoring. Check your blood pressure regularly. Track your resting heart rate. Pay attention to patterns in your energy and sleep. These small observations create a bigger picture, one that can reveal problems before they become critical. Also, schedule regular heart checkups after 60, even if you feel fine. Many serious conditions develop silently. And remember this, acting early is not overreacting. It's protecting your future. Now imagine something different. Imagine waking up with steady energy, walking without breathlessness, sleeping peacefully without your heart struggling in the background, feeling confident, not anxious about your health. That transformation doesn't come from one big change. It comes from small, consistent decisions. Going to bed earlier, moving more throughout the day, releasing emotional stress instead of holding it in, eating at the right time, hydrating wisely, and most importantly, listening to your body when it speaks. Your heart has been working for you every second of your life, beating over 100,000 times a day, pumping life through every part of your body. It doesn't ask for much, but after 60, it needs your attention more than ever, because this is the stage of life where small habits have the biggest impact, where prevention matters more than cure, where awareness can add not just years to your life, but life to your years. So don't wait for a warning you can't ignore. Start today, start tonight. Protect your heart while you still can. And if this message made you think, even for a moment, about your own habits, then don't keep it to yourself. Share this with someone you care about, a friend, a parent, a partner, because the truth is, most people don't realize the damage until it's too late. And one simple conversation, one shared video, could change that. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, not for entertainment, but for awareness. Because the more you understand your body, the better you can protect it. And your heart deserves that protection